gentlemen, you're watching GEEKCASTER. I'm Michael, and today we got in the virtual studio
the hacker of all hackers, Dayveonne Bussey.
I'm just me, Corey Davis.
Leone.
All right. You're watching GEEKCASTER, everything geek content and geek culture. So, this is the after show. We talked about Lovecraft Country. You should check out that episode. We talked about episode 1 through 4.
Yes.
But I also have some good news for everybody. We just got renewed in Nassau County, Long Island on cable, on Suffolk County, Long Island. So we're in all of Long Island. And we just got renewed in the 5 boroughs. So we got some more cable time. So we're going to keep trucking, keep doing. Even in a pandemic, you can't stop GEEKCASTER. Yeah.
Be true to the world, baby.
This is the moment where I actually put my Deadpool mask on.
But no, for real, folks, please check out the Lovecraft Country episode. Tell us what you think. If there's any things that stand out that you think we should have mentioned that we didn't. I'd like to mention something real quick. The cars. The cars were on point.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
Woody kind of reminds me of like the car from Harry and the Hendersons. Like that big station wagon. I wonder if that was done on purpose.
Maybe just to fit all the cameras. They had to fit cameras when they shot in there. They need a big vehicle, I would think. So, but there's big news. Let's go with a little tech news. Let's talk about Xbox. They are doing what we've been talking about for a very long time. Anyone who wants to do it?
I'm cutting my screen off.
I think because he's a PS person, so that's probably why.
So Xbox is launching 2 different consoles,
right?
A digital console and a fully backwards compatible all the way to the original Xbox console. The Xbox Series X as in X-ray, will be the backwards compatible. I believe it's unconfirmed, but it might be priced around $499. And the completely digital Xbox Series S is in Sam, Sierra, whatever S word you want to insert there. Completely digital, no insert for a CD-ROM at $299. All digital.
This is amazing, right? I mean, well, which one do you go with?
What was that? Let them live. Let them both become backwards compatible and live their best life.
Yeah. You paid for everything, right?
Right. They've done what PlayStation failed to do, saying, "Oh, we're going to be completely backwards compatible." But Xbox, from Xbox One to 360 to Xbox One to Xbox Now, you can play every game for every Xbox console on the Xbox Series X.
Corey,
What's up?
rub it in. Just rub it in.
Oh yeah, like salt in the wound, pour it on. Did I mention it has more frames per minute FPS than PlayStation, and it's slightly faster than PlayStation 5? Just wanted to let you know.
Oh no, folks! There's nothing wrong with Dayveonne's computer. He just turned his camera off.
Well, there you go.
Because he's a little tight.
I turned my camera on.
You're upset too?
No, turn your camera back on.
Oh. You felt left out. Gotcha. But that's big news. Now, what about the other model? Do we really want to just download the games? Because that changes everything. If you don't have to store CDs but now don't you have to invest in a cloud now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can't you get
believe
that
that they're
like
gonna have-
thing?
What's
talking
that?
about external hard drive.
Yeah.
Or you could just basically, what they're probably going to do is have you take out the external hard drive out of the system and put a bigger tower in. I mean, it's bigger external, like they do with the PS4 or the original Xbox.
Mhm.
So besides just saying, like, well, PS4 is only allowed 2 terabytes.
Mhm.
Right now, with the new systems, they may be allowed to have 12 terabytes compared to 2.
Oh wow.
So I'm just speaking on behalf of both.
Yeah.
If they go that route,
Well, you
or maybe
definitely. It's definitely an argument to buy both, right? It's almost like just the backwards compatible. That's the only one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
unless
I would go that way.
let's say for right now, because PS5, you got to figure out what games or how long they're gonna go backwards compatible. So, but once they open the PlayStation Store, they're pretty much trying to push digital. So you can basically buy all the classic.
How'd you start talking about PS? We're talking about Xbox. We have to live in the reality of now.
People saving the audience.
People that did it. Listen, they did what they were supposed to do. Xbox did what they were supposed. Feel it. Hear what I'm saying,
Exactly.
man.
I try, guys. Yes, people are trying.
And I think that may be an argument, like you said, to get both, because if you want to just download current games, you can. But if you have a stack of games you want to play, just get the Series X. So I understand that argument. I personally would just get the Xbox Series X. I can download games and play both, so 2 consoles in one, basically. But that's just me.
Okay. Now, I want to, they really act up when you play videos, but we did get this from Warner Brothers, okay? So, YouTube is kind of crazy with the, anytime you throw any video or content from anybody. But let's talk about it. Let's do it. Hopefully we won't get flagged. We shouldn't. They gave it to us, but Dune. We do not own this footage. This is Warner Brothers footage. Dune looks like they spent a lot of money and got a lot of names. But this trailer turned me off. I'm not interested.
What?
I'm just maybe it's just the whole feeling of things going on.
Cut your screen off now.
Yeah.
Someone's got to be the evil one.
just cut your screen off. Like,
it's okay, Michael. I'm listening.
I'm just tired of the hero of the future is always this little Peter Pan looking dude. I'm just tired of it. So maybe, what I mean? So maybe I'm holding everything back for that. Everything else is beautiful. It looks great. You got my girl in there. Z Money Grip. you know who that is, right?
Yeah.
Zendaya.
Zendaya.
Why you say it like that?
Zendaya.
You gotta put a little respect on it.
Zendaya.
Yeah. So they got my boy. You got my Aquaman up in there. They got everything.
They got my boy up in. They got my other boy, David Bautista.
All right.
Really?
So you know what? All right. Let me stop fronting. I want to see it. I'm gonna see it. I'm a huge fan of Dune. I just wasn't feeling the lead character. I'm just like, sprinkling diversity, but at the end of the day, it's still the Great White Hope. I'm getting turned off of that. So maybe that's just me.
Hey, who's the director?
Who is the director? Who is the director? Let's see.
That's a good question.
Look at you making my life difficult.
Dune. Did you guys know there are that many versions of Dune?
Dennis Villeneuve. I don't know how to say his name. Did you know that it was also a book and a 1984 movie?
Yes, sir.
So
I just never,
I'm
I
excited.
just never seen it. Never got the chance to see the 1988 film. I heard about it. I heard how good it was, but just never got the chance to do it.
So, as a Dune fan, what this film has to do is to correct all the mistakes of the past. Technology wise, that should be there. A lot of things should be there to
Mhm.
make it awesome. So,
Exactly.
anybody watching this, forgive me. I'm just tired of the Great White Hope, but that's it. Everything else will. Am I the only one that feels that way?
Yes.
Yes.
No, no, you're not. I literally don't.
Well,
really
on
care
this
what
show,
you
he
like.
is. On this show.
I was talking, okay?
Yes.
One,
I'm sorry.
one, okay? Anyways, yeah, like when I watch sitcoms, I'm kind of just like, really? It's almost like all white people in this. Do I really want? Like, I'm watching Cobra Kai, and I'm just like, y'all sprinkled this much POC. You're lucky. Y'all lucky.
And actually, you know what? Think about it also too. Of everyone they showed so far, yes, they did put people of color, but it was like everybody they
Right.
put in there is mixed. Everybody put in there is like you might as well have just made it all white cast. At least what I've seen so far.
There's like one black guy and one black mom, and I feel like there's another black boy for some reason, but I don't know where he at for real, for real.
Now,
But yeah.
we should talk about this too.
Oh, there's one mixed girl.
Right. So we should talk about this too with the Oscars and how, they're changing what they're looking for to win.
Mm.
And there's been some controversy saying how, should the Academy have a say on how someone wants to paint the picture that's in their mind? And I think that's valid as a actor, as a producer, as a writer. I want more opportunities, but at the same time, it is interesting to say, well, should someone push or have a handle in who or what should be there? Now, at the same time, saying that, once you start doing Dune and fantasy in the future, there's been always a problem with showing black people in the future and black people in fantasy, which is like, can we be a part of fantasy? Can we be in the future? Could we be in a galaxy far away? So that's why I was like, when they did Dune, I was just like, well, this is totally fantasy and political. Because if you study Dune, there's all this stuff about resources and people. Why are we not a part of that? Now, I like Zendaya, and I like some of the people they chose, but I want to see some color, some dark
I have
color,
a question.
some chocolate in
I
the
do have a
future. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm not trying to defend the choices.
Mhm.
I just want to offer a perspective.
Gotcha. Go for it.
When we talk about the future,
Mhm.
and this is just in an economical right now kind of
Mhm.
sense, I think we always say that the mixed race is going to become the dominant race, where everyone is going to blend in and become one color, right? If that's something we believe, and I'm not trying to like make an excuse for this, wouldn't it make sense that everyone is kind of like the same shade of everyone being mixed in?
But if you
Nigger, that is the worst way of trying to be okay with colorism. I'm so sorry, sir. That is the worst way to justify colorism in television.
Like I said,
You can add different skin tones. It doesn't matter if that's what we see in the future. It is still okay to put people of my color on there, even if you think that a mixed race is going to be the dominant race. There may still be someone that is my skin complexion, is his skin complexion, is anyone's skin complexion that isn't in that ambiguous range, like, nah.
also if you wanted to play the genetic game,
like, come on, y'all.
if you really wanted to play the genetic game, which I don't want to go too far and make it a controversial show, but since this is the after show,
no, let's talk about it. We're all geeks. So let's
okay,
bring
but
up those
let's just keep it real. If we played that game, it goes back to like what what's it called? Public Enemy, fear of a black planet. Because at the end of the day, we have the dominant genes, so everyone would end up looking like us at some point.
Right.
Right. Everybody's not going to look like you know, or spectrum, but closer to this side of the spectrum if he did that. But, with that being said, listen, man, can we play too? If we're going to play pretend, it's not like it's a documentary on Queen Elizabeth and it's just,
listen.
you know what I mean?
We can do. We don't always have to be like the African or the specific blah 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 of someone that you think is black. Like even Heimdall, though that character's great, he's still in like for me honestly, he's still like in a serving of what non-POC, like.
and the few people,
But I mean, like.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
They brought back with what's her name, but she's also light skinned, so it's like.
Tessa Thompson.
Yeah, it's like, oof, like you helped us because now she's the main character, femme, not straight, and also black. But she's obviously what they normally go for when they do add black characters.
Also,
even in the show, they talk about. Oh dang! Sorry.
Well, no, go ahead. You finish it. I'll
finish what you were saying.
I was like, they even talk about colorism in Lovecraft Country, because like you can see the like difference of like how she feels compared to how like people see her sister, and it's the same way like other black girls feel who are darker when we're watching this show, and you're like, yeah, of course she's light skinned, cool.
Okay, I was just scrolling through the footage so the fans can see some of the trailer, and as I scroll through it, even the few people of color in this, their makeup is all pasty white. Now again, Dune does take place
in the sand.
I get it, but then again,
but there's the more what? Come on, man.
But sun and sand, wouldn't they be darker?
Dark.
You know what I'm saying?
Dark, but you're still covered in sand. So I'm not making an excuse.
No, you are.
Wait, what? What did you say? You said they're covered in sand?
They're covered in sand, but that doesn't make you darker, though. That just...
No.
It would be sandy.
If you think about the areas where desert look like that.
I'm going to the beach and
complexions. Are they white?
No.
Okay, thank you.
I understand.
That's it.
See?
That's it. It's okay.
I know. I'm waving the white flag. I'm waving the white.
It's okay.
Just tap out.
Did you guys know that Sting was in the original Dune? The film first. Yeah. So I'm gonna see it. Okay.
But you don't want to.
No, I do because I am a fan of the concept, and Dune is very complicated. It's a very complicated story. They're actually going to do another. Well, everybody wants to make the trilogy, so there's supposed to be a couple of these, and there's supposed to be a whole nother series again, telling different parts of the story because there's just too much to tell in one film. There's so many layers to it, so should be interesting. We will see. We will definitely see. Now, what do you guys think about the Academy saying you have to have a certain amount of people of color, a certain amount of LGBTQ representation? Yes, you have to have a certain amount of people of color on the crew. But again, when you say POC, that's very broad.
They're gonna be so mad.
Right, exactly.
And I feel a little uncomfortable of that. It's kind of like, but that's another conversation. But kind of like every time there's a win for us, everybody wins, and it's like.
Well, yeah, obviously. But anyways, my thing is that's gonna really they gonna be so mad, y'all.
Well, there's already a backlash. There's already.
They're gonna be so mad.
Already a backlash.
I mean, I don't know, because if you look at what was it, Roma, when it won on Netflix for being completely in Spanish, and it was a Mexican director with mostly Mexican actors and a mostly Mexican crew, it still won Picture of the Year. So
Yeah, but was there different skin races in the thing? Did it show different types of Mexican people.
It was all in black and white, but it was a tale of how I believe his name was Anthony Ramos. No, was he the
I feel
director?
like things from different countries is a little different. Like, let's say, what was that thing that won that wasn't an English movie that everybody watched?
Parasite.
Oh, Parasite.
Yeah, so like that, like I feel like it's understandable that they don't have many people seeing their things.
Same thing with Roma. It was mostly Mexican people.
Yeah,
so
that's why I'm saying, like, I
if
feel
it's
like
a heartfelt story that deals with culture and that ethnicity, I think that makes more of a better film than to say, "Oh, I want to make a period piece, but I have to include like just to say one ethnicity and another ethnicity. I have to basically force it." I think that kind of takes
but
away.
I don't feel like it has to be forced. I feel like in certain periods of time, in many periods of time, there are many different colors of people in places. Like if it's based in America, or if it's an American show, if it's an American movie, what time in America were there not many races of people?
That's true. Even in Europe, as much as
Like that's not even any of my business. I'm not even looking at Europe because they have their own.
well, no, well,
I was thinking more of like other countries instead of America because the only story we can't tell.
Yeah, you were talking about Mexico, so I completely understand about it not being applied to them.
well,
Yeah,
the
like
reason why I bring that up, it's important. So, for instance, North Carolina, a lot of people don't realize that Charlotte is actually named after a black queen because Elizabeth's sister was black. So, to pretend, and we've seen Robin Hood, well, they'll just put one more in it because they have to go out of their way. And there's been many versions of Robin Hood where the one more wasn't even black. They were always black people in Europe. But you wouldn't know that because we've seen so many films and so many stories told without us. So I think, I don't know, it's kind of weird. Like if I want to do a one act, not a one act, but let's say a movie that takes place in one room and it's all black college kids, can I still do that? And what if someone Caucasian wanted to do that? Are they now going to feel stifled that they can't tell that story? So I could kind of understand the racist side to it, but I could understand
and that's what I was
the
trying
other
to
side.
say.
Movies and TV shows, there are people who are not black.
Mm.
Have you guys watched a documentary about something that didn't have a non-black person in it?
Yeah.
Which one?
Trying to think. There's a couple of them, like The Real World. What is the other documentary show? True Lives.
What are you talking about?
You saying the MTV, right?
Any TV, like just TV in general.
TV,
not
but
MTV.
they had black people on those shows, and they had white people on those shows.
There was actually one show that's actually a true story on Netflix. It's called The Spy, and it's basically the true life story of how this, I want to say he was French, or he was some type of European, and he was forced to be a spy because his brother was a spy and his brother got killed. And because he had the same genes and DNA and genetics as his brother, they forced him to be a spy. But because he was in such deep cover, he started believing the alias that he was his own personality. So it's like a psychological story that really happened. So they look at it from that perspective. But there were no black people where he was and how he operated. So that was more of a true to life story. But what I'm saying is there are plenty of black people that we could tell their story of and not have to say, well, there were other people in it. It could strictly be a completely black story, but we don't have to say like we're mixed. We all know that we were mixed, but we don't have to like tell it from many different perspectives.
Now this also helps with crew because they want, I think 30% of the crew need to be people of color. I think to be able to be eligible to win an Oscar or at least Best Picture.
Yeah.
Certain categories. Well, in general, a lot of people will get work that weren't able, well, in theory, that weren't able to get work before. I don't think this necessarily guarantees, because when they say minority, they're also saying LGBTQ. So they could say, hey, here's this white male that is, I don't know, identifies as this and this and that or whatever. So he counts for that quota. So that doesn't necessarily guarantee an African American the spot, somebody black the spot.
Right.
You know, so.
Well,
because we can have many Rachel Dolezals.
This is, well, yeah.
but here's how they counter that though, because they can add like assistants into it, like assistant to a director or stage crew or production crew.
Mm-hmm. Let me see.
Let's
see if I could just really, really quick, because we are running out of time. But maybe I could. In fact, there's a story on Variety.com talking about it, and some actors have already been upset. Okay, lead significant supporting actors, and they list different ethnicities, other underrepresented races: Asian, Hispanic, Latinx, Black, African American, Indigenous, Native American, Alaskan, Middle Eastern, Northern African, Eastern Pacific. Main storyline subject matter: women, racial or ethnic group, LGBTQ plus, people with cognitive or physical disabilities, who are deaf or hard of hearing. So it's interesting.
I kind of don't think that's the problem. I think typecasting is really the problem. Like John Boyega is like trying to protest for it, because if you play one role and you don't find another role similar like that, why can't you just try out for it? Like, why does Tilda Swinton get to play all these elaborate, crazy roles? Why can't other people get those opportunities? So I think typecasting is more so the issue, rather than saying there's a certain amount of percentage of people that have to work on the film.
Right. And I totally agree with Corey. As an actor, I always get picked as either the cop or the henchman of the real villain, or maybe that sub character that pretty much always gets killed all the time. As a black person. So,
are you upset you can't play little Asian girl?
Why are you trying to?
I'm just messing with you.
Why are you trying to switch it? See, I'm trying to represent y'all, and you trying to switch it, man. What the heck is wrong with you?
Oh man, give everybody your social media.
It's Dayveonne Bussey. It's the actor name for Instagram and Facebook, and it's Jamal Williams Show for the podcast on Instagram and Twitter.
Wow, take that.
Corey Davis, that's the government name, because I don't know what the rambling was about. I am GT3 on IG and Twitter.
Hey, it's your fave, Sarah Leone. You can find me on IG and Facebook on Sarah Leone Cosplay. Twitter, Sailor Leone. Boom. There we go.
You got it.
Cool. Michael7 Michael on Instagram, and you could always go to GEEKCASTER on Instagram. Go to GEEKCASTER.com for all the episodes, past episodes. Enjoy. This has been awesome. We might be able to go into this in more detail, because I think it's important to get our perspective out there on this. And we would love some comments to see what people think, people in the industry as well as just fans of content. What do you think? Does it matter? Is this going to really help, or does this divide people, make it more complicated? Is it going to hinder storytelling or make storytelling better? Be interesting to see. All right, you're watching GEEKCASTER. Cool.
Can I just say one more thing?
Yep.
Can Common get more roles than being the cop? Can he?
The music blasts right when you said that, but it was, say it again?
I said, can Common get more roles than just being a cop? Like in every movie.